Hey guys, it's Ms. Caster. We are going to look at parameter changes when we change the slope here for Unit 10. So if you do not have your packet out right now, go ahead and pause the video and get it out. This is to prepare you for Tuesday. So go ahead and turn to page 9 in your packet. Alright, we are going to investigate the role of the y-intercept. So that's my b in my y equals mx plus b. Okay, so I have a nifty little tool on my computer. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that up to help me out with this. Okay, so it says draw and label the following lines on the graph. I'm going to turn my calculator on just like you would normally in class. So I'm going to hit y equals, and I'm going to y equals x. I'm going to type that in and then hit graph. And there's my line. I can hit trace, and it gives me the point 0, 0. And then as I hit 1, it gives me 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, and so on. So I'm going to plot that point on my graph over here. So I've got 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, and so forth. Okay? Now, if you noticed, it also goes down to the negative. So I'm going to negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 3, and so forth. Whatever my x value is, my y value has to be the same thing. So, again, I'm going to continue plotting this graph over here. Alright, so there's my graph, y equals x. Now, I'm going to go down to y2, and I'm going to graph x plus 2. Graph that. It's parallel. So, my y-intercept, whenever I hit trace, it gives me my y-intercept of my first equation, and then it gives me my y-intercept of my second equation, which is 0, positive 2. Okay, so I'm going to choose a different color, and I'm going to plot this point here. My slope is the same. As you saw, it was parallel. So rise 1, run 1. I'm going to graph this line, and it's going to be directly parallel to my purple line. Okay? I'm going to come over here, draw my line. Okay, so that is my y equals 2, or y equals x plus 2, I apologize. This one was the purple one. Now we're going to do green, y equals x plus 5, sorry. Y equals x, and I'm just going to come over here, plus 5, and graph it, and see what happens. There's my first graph, here's my second one. So now, I'm going to hit trace, and it tells me that my y-intercept is 0, 5. Now whenever I hit 1, 6, 2, 7, 3, 8, and so forth. Negative 1, 4, negative 2, 3, negative 3, 2, and so forth. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and plot those points right here. Also, you can use your arrows to scroll kind of over and stay on the same line. Okay, so 0, 5 is my y-intercept. Rise 1, run 1, rise, run, rise, run. So there's my line. And I did this one in green. I'm going to do this one in black or in red. So I've got x minus 3. Y equals x minus 3. And graph that and see what happens. There's my first one. And there's x minus 3. I'm going to hit trace, and it gives me my y-intercept, which is 0, negative 3. And then at 1, it's negative 2. 2, it's negative 1. 3, it is 0, and so forth. If I go negative 1, it's negative 4. If I have negative 2, it's negative 5, and so forth. Okay? So, again, you can move this over until you get back to your y-intercept, which is negative 3. I'm going to plot that point, negative 3, rise 1, run 1, rise, run, rise, run, rise, run, and so forth. Now I'm going to draw my line. It's going to be about right here. Right. You should start noticing some sort of a pattern. Okay, I'm going to do this one in black. Y equals x minus 7. So I'm not going to pull up the calculator for this one because we should start to notice a trend. Okay, so with negative 7, and I'm going to be right here. I'm going to rise 1, run 1, rise, run. Okay, draw my line. It's going to be right here. Alright, so these are the notes for page 9. Now if you would turn with me, if you'll look at the bottom, this right here is going to be your homework. Now, turn to page 10, please. We are going to draw and label the following lines on the graph. Okay, so we are investigating the role of the m this time. Alright, so again, I'm going to use my calculator. The first one is y equals x. Well, we already know what that one is. Okay, so this is the graph of y equals x. Now, we're going to go down to the next one, y equals 2x. Let's graph that. That one has a steeper slope. Alright, so hit trace. Gives me for my y1, y2. It's the exact same. So notice up here it has my different equations. Okay, so I have x and then 2x. Both of them have the y-intercept being the origin at 0, 0. So I'm going to see where I can find some pretty points. Okay, so when x is 1, y is 2. When x is 2, y is 4. When x is 3, y is 6. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and plot those points over here. I have an origin right here. And then when x was 1, y was 2. And then 4, 6, 8. Negative, it would have gone the same way. Let's take a look. If I want to know where negative 1 put my y, it's at negative 2. Negative 2 puts my y at negative 4. Negative 3 puts my y at negative 6. Alright, so let's go ahead and plot those points. I'm going to draw my line for that one. Okay, so now I have my line for y equals 2x. I'm going to figure out y equals 3x. Graph that. That one is even steeper than the first one. So we're going to hit trace. And again, my y-intercept is 0, 0. Figure out when x is 1, what is my y? It's 3. When x is 2, my y is 6. When x is 3, my y is 9. Let's take a look at negative 1, negative 3, negative 2, negative 6, negative 3, negative 9. So I'm going to go ahead and plot those points over here. Again, 0, 0. And then when x was 1, y is 3, x is 2, we're at 6, and 3, we're at 9. The negative is the same. Negative 3, negative 6, negative 9. So whenever I go to draw my line, got this line right here, and it's green. So C is my green line. Now, we are going to get into some fractions. So y equals, I'm going to clear out this one right here, 1/2 x. Like I've told you, go ahead and put your fraction in parentheses. 1/2 x. Let's graph that. There's my y equals x. And there is 1/2 x. So it is less steep than my parent function, than my y equals x. When I hit trace, I'm still at 0, 0. And then at 1, I'm at 0.5. At 2, I'm at 1, 3, 1.5, 4, 2. So you notice these are going up, the y values are going up at increments of 1/2. Okay, let's check out my negative numbers. Negative 1 is at 0.5, negative 2 is 1, negative 3, 1.5, and so on. So I'm going to go ahead and graph these over here. So 0, 0 was one of them. And then 2, 1, 4, 2. Alright, and then same for over here. Negative 2, negative 1, negative 4, negative 2. Just kind of eyeballing this, so it's not going to be completely perfect. I don't expect yours to be either. But again, notice that I have plotted points, so I kind of know where I'm at. This next one I'm going to do in black. Y equals 1/4 x. So go to my y equals. And instead of clearing all this out, I'm just going to click over on my arrows to 1/4 x and graph it. There's my y equals x. And there is my y equals 1/4 x. So notice, again, that this is even less steep than the other ones. Okay, so we're going to trace it. My y-intercept is the same. I'm going to see when x is 1, what is y? It's 0.25, which is 1/4. 2 is 1/2. 3, 0.75. What do you think 4 is going to be? It's 1. So negative 1, let's see what that is. Negative 0.25. Negative 2 gives us 0.5. Negative 3, 0.75. And then negative 4, you guessed it, negative 1. So now I'm going to plot these points here. Okay, so I know I've got 0, 0. And then I know that I had 4, 1. And these are really hard to graph, but they're about right here. Okay, and then I've got this one right here also. Again, difficult to graph. Going to draw my line. It's going to be a little something kind of like this. Okay, so now your job is going to be to do 2 through 5 right here. Alright guys, I hope that this has been helpful. Please come prepared to do some work tomorrow so that we can get through the rest of this. Remember that you have a test on Friday. So I will see you guys soon. Have a great rest of the day.